fly tiers think of tying as something they do in their home on their bench, but with a little bit of effort and forethought, you can put together a portable fly tying kit to take with you wherever you go fishing. You can customize flies that way, modify other patterns to fit a particular stream or river. Okay, well, I put my bead on, smashed my barb, put my bead on. Now I'm winding some thread. Snap the thread off instead of cutting it, it's a little quicker. Pull some Peacock herl off by the tips, trim it, and then tie it onto your hook shank. Half a dozen strands if you want, depending on the size of the fly. And just palmer that towards the bead. Peacock herl is a great material. It's got a lot of iridescence in it. The sun picks it up pretty well. It looks natural. It's the right color for the Brachiocentrus that we screened. Get a piece of I like Hungarian Partridge for soft hackle flies. They got good modeling. So I'm going to find a feather that fits the size. You got to kind of judge that. So you pick an individual feather off and then trim it. And I like to trim it along the hook stem so that when you tie it on, it's got something to hang on to, these little barbs. Put the hackle pliers on it. I like to bring my thread back so that when I wind this through, I get a little bit of extra turns through that hackle. So I'll wind the thread through it and then just whip finish it with either a tool or your hands. That's it. It's all ready to fish. Okay, I smashed the barb. I am going, instead of snapping off my tying thread, this tag end, I'm going to save it and use that for my rib. My dubbing I made myself, threw it in a coffee grinder. It's a mixture of hare's ear, olive antron, and a little bit of crystal flash. As you can see, it's pretty easy to make. You just customize it to whatever hat you're doing. I'm going to dub it, pull some of that from the edge, get the dubbing on there. And then just wind that forward. So I like to leave it a little buggy. That's why I like the hairs here. I'm just going to pick a feather off of this saddle, and if you got stuff that's extraneous color wise, you can just trim it off. Take the feather, trim it along the barbs along the stem. And then I'm just going to palmer it back. Take a couple of turns right up at the thorax, then just palmer it back to mimic the legs. And then that tying thread we kept and didn't snap off, I'm going to use that for my rib. And now you see I just snapped the hackle. Bring the tying thread forward through that palmered hackle. And then just tie it off at right behind the head. I'm going to take a clump of this white-tailed deer hair, which I like better than bleached elk hair. It's got some good qualities to it. It floats well. Got the right color for this caddis hatch. Put it in the stacker, tap it down, and it's all ready to go. And then I'm going to measure it so it goes just beyond the bend a little bit. Tie it in at the thorax. After you tie your hair in, take a couple of turns, pull some of that hair back to get it down to the thread so your wing doesn't rotate around your hook shank. And just finish it. And then just trim the head. That's it. Sometimes you're going to wonder whether it's worth the extra effort and expense to bring a fly tying kit with you. But the first time you get blown off the river with 50-mile-an-hour winds and you're sitting in a restaurant or camp or even your vehicle tying flies, you'll see the real worth of bringing a kit with you.